Good evening, you're watching To The Point. I'm Preeti Choudhry. Let's now cut across to the Maharashtra Assembly. What does it look like? Exactly like this right now, the way things have been split where the NCP is concerned. Look right on top, 15 MLAs of the NCP are undecided. What about the rest? Well, take a look on how the 288-member assembly in Maharashtra looks like. Where the BJP is concerned, 106. Where the Shiv Sena, which is the Eknath Shinde's party, aligning with the BJP at 44. The NCP, which is the Ajit Pawar's faction. Well, what we've been given to understand right now, 24 of the 54 cumulative MLAs of the NCP sit on the side of the BJP, others 21, which are with the BJP incumbent government. Let's now go across to the other side there, which is the Congress at 44. Well, by this account, it is the Congress which should ideally have the leader of opposition and not the NCP, because the Congress is at 44. The Sharad Pawar faction now sits at 14 there. Sena UBT, which is the Uddhav faction, at 12. However, others here are 8, but 15 are undecided where the NCP is concerned. So this is what it really pans out as of now. Currently, will these numbers stay? Absolutely not. There's going to be a lot of shift where the NCP is concerned between these two factions. One of them, which is, of course, the party president Sharad Pawar. This is the NCP faction. Where the Sharad Pawar faction is concerned, the party president is Sharad Pawar. However, the new Ajit Pawar's faction, party president as acknowledged Sunil Tatkare, where numbers are concerned, where the Sharad Pawar faction is concerned right now in terms of numbers of 54 is the strength of the NCP in the Maharashtra State Assembly. 14 is what our Mumbai Bureau has come to a number which have openly pled support for Sharad Pawar. However, 15 are sitting on the fence, and those 15 could be a decider. Ajit Pawar's claim over 40 MLAs, what we are given to understand by our sources, 24 with them. When will there be clarity in this? Let's cut across to Sahil Joshi, our Mumbai Bureau Chief, getting us more on that. Sahil, when do you see some clarity come in terms of numbers? Next 24 hours, 48 hours, or it's going to go all the way back to the meeting where both factions have called on the 5th of July?
Well, 5th of July is going to be the D-Day, because that is the day when all the MLAs in NCP will have to take a stand. They cannot hide behind, they will decide later, all that stuff, because both the meetings are going to be on the same day. So it is also not a possibility that on 5th of July, because MLAs can do anything. On 5th of July, they might attend one meeting, and on 6th of July, if there is another meeting, they may just switch over to the other meeting. That is not going to be the possibility. On 5th of July, they will have to be either at Sharad Pawar's meeting or at the meeting called by Ajit Pawar. So that is going to be very clear. That day, the number game will be clear, and on the basis of that, the future fight will happen. Now, the main fight is going to be in the Speaker's chamber, because Speaker will finally have to decide, as per the Supreme Court ruling, that which exactly is the real political party. The number of MLAs doesn't matter there. That's very clear. The Supreme Court verdict, the constitutional bench verdict, has made it very clear that the political party appoints the whip, and as the 10th schedule exists and the anti-defection law exists, if the MLAs which are in number of 2/3, the majority doesn't apply, the whip applies finally. So he will have to first decide that who is going to be the political party. I don't think that the Speaker will be in a hurry to decide that anytime soon. The way the Shiv Sena verdict by the Speaker is yet to happen. It's been more than a year, but still it is pending at the Speaker's chambers. That I think that is going to continue for more. Meanwhile, there will be a fight in the Election Commission, because that is going to be the crucial fight. Whenever there will be, right now immediately there is no election, but eventually, whenever there will be maybe a by-poll or a local corporation election, that is the time when the Election Commission will be addressed, and that is the time when it will be decided by the Election Commission that which fraction is the true NCP, which has happened with NCP before, when P.A. Sangma actually split with Sharad Pawar over his decision of going back with the Congress in 1999, and that fight also went on for a couple of years, and eventually then Sharad Pawar won that fight and retained the name of the NCP as well as the symbol. So he has to go through the same fight again. So basically on the 5th of July, that is what is going to happen, and that is, till now, all this is posturing, that, we are removing so-and-so from the party, we are removing him from the position, we are appointing our own person. All that stuff is going to happen till then. but it will get only a legal or a technical sanctity when either the Speaker or the Election Commission eventually will take a final decision with respect to this.
You know, I just want to bring in, because there are many questions. One of them we've just posed out there. Can Supriya Sule carry the weight as Pawar's successor? Because many would suggest what has really gone down is something that Mr. Sharad Pawar knew would happen, and possibly on his watch. He is 84. He wanted the succession to shift to Supriya Sule in a clear fashion. Rahul Srivastava, let me bring you in. We're talking about a political outfit, the NCP, that has rarely stayed out of power. It's a party which is used to being in power. Having said that, your conversation with Mr. Praful Patel, suggesting one thing clear, it wasn't taken down well, the fact that Supriya Sule has been clearly deemed in a dynasty move of sorts as the successor to Mr. Pawar.
Yes, Preeti, I think this is a trouble with dynastic outfits. Last time around when Ajit Pawar made the move, Sharad Pawar was fully in control. And leaders like Praful Patel and several others knew that their accountability and future lay with Sharad Pawar. But having handed over the baton to Supriya Sule, I think he made a very distinct choice and perhaps reduced the elbow room for people like Praful Patel and others, that which way do they go from here now, because eventually they will be reporting to Supriya Sule in future. And also they may not have much to do. Remember the fact that what did Ajit Pawar have more or less in his hands? He did want to become the state president, and that was not given to him. Praful Patel was managing Maharashtra. So what would have meant for Ajit Pawar and Praful Patel? That in future their say in number of people getting tickets, both for Assembly and Lok Sabha, might have gone down. Now that is what eventually Sahil was saying goes to the Election Commission in terms of control of the party. It is a battle for that control. Unlike the Shiv Sena one last time around, in Maharashtra, the numerical clarity was there, that they had the larger numbers. The Speaker could make a very clear choice. But this time around, the numbers are doubtful. But there is a problem that you cannot have, the Speaker can identify the breakaway faction as a separate entity, but has to give a ruling that eventually who's who. For the time being, somebody can be chief whip of X faction and Y faction, but the Speaker eventually will have to make a decision. He can delay it as long as he wants to, and Ajit Pawar can continue being the Deputy Chief Minister. But the fact is, the eventual battle goes to the Election Commission. While the Election Commission rulings and others can be challengeable by the governor, this time there is no governor, remember. This time it's a Speaker whose decision cannot be challenged in the courts. So one will have to wait and see which way does the Speaker does. I think the next move by the Speaker is going to be very, and who is going to be the real NCP.
Right. Now, when we're talking about Ms. Supriya
I want to make a point.
Okay, Sahil. Sandeep Shastri, but just give me 2 minutes. Sandeep Shastri, you want to make a point quickly, Sandeep?
I think the point which Rahul just now made, I think there are multiple chambers in which this decision is going to be made. You have the legislature party meeting, you have the Speaker's chamber, you have the election commission, you have the court, and ultimately you have the streets where the supporters of the party will decide. And I think this game is going to play out in a long way across all these chambers. You may have the legislature party meeting on 5th. Then the Speaker will take his own time to take a decision. The Election Commission will take its decision. I'm sure it will go to the court at some point of time. And then, as elections come on the street, what happens with regard to the NCP supporters? I think all these factors will have to be budgeted in. It's not just a numbers game. We should not look at the political fight in Maharashtra only from the lens of numbers. I think the fact of who controls power is, I think, equally critical in how this game is likely to play out.
Well, you know, Sahil, you want to make a point, but in all of this, if who controls power when there is somebody like a Sharad Pawar, we've seen him play his hand before. But go ahead.
Well, what Mr. Shastri said, the last point is going to be really critical, because eventually this fight is going to be fought in the elections. On whose side the party's vote base is going to go. I agreed with Rahul Srivastava when I was hearing to what he was saying. I was listening to what he was saying on your first question. that, yes, the NCP is a party of the satraps. Now, we have to understand that how the NCP is formed. NCP is not formed the way Janasangh or the BJP or the Congress has been formed. The NCP was formed because Sharad Pawar was thrown out of the Congress, and finally he decided that, okay, I will have to form my own party. The people who believed in him, the MLAs, the leaders who believed in him in Maharashtra, decided to go with Sharad Pawar and then remained with the Sharad Pawar. So this is the party which is formed by Sharad Pawar. Eventually, all the decisions, there is no number 2, there is no number 3, there is no number 4, there is no number 5. There is only number 1, that is Sharad Pawar, who is to take a final call about a lot of things, almost everything in Nationalist Congress Party. Yes, Praful Patel was his man Friday. He used to be consulted. He used to follow the orders by Sharad Pawar, and he had his say in the parties. Equally, even Ajit Pawar had the say. But now what changed? This was brewing. We knew that this is going to happen eventually. Someday this is going to happen. We just didn't know the timing, and why this time has been chosen. That is something is going to be really important. Why this time has been chosen? There is a full-fledged majority government is in place in Maharashtra at this point of time. 169 MLAs are supporting the Shinde and Fadnavis government, but despite that, why they needed Ajit Pawar? That is the question. They needed Ajit Pawar because it looks like that it's not enough. They have to win the Lok Sabha elections. This arrangement has been made so that the NDA can have more than 40 seats in Maharashtra in the Lok Sabha elections, and that added number can only be, they can only get it if people like Ajit Pawar can come to them, and if they can bring in some 5 to 7% of the vote share to them, only then the BJP and the NDA will be able to cross 40% of the vote share, is what is being talked about.
So the game, is not so much as a local MLA or a state level politics. It's a larger scale which goes and plays into 2024, because even if it is a 6% of the vote that NCP brings, with a limited amount of Ajit Pawar influence, that could really shift scales dramatically. Rahul Srivastava, I want to bring you in as well, because with what Sahil says, let's even look at the 24 picture. It's also happening in a larger narrative of what's going down right now in Maharashtra, because on the sidelines of it, there are already murmurs. Eknath Shinde is holding an all-party meet because he's got leaders who are now griping, saying, when are you going to accommodate us? You've got 8 ministers coming in from the NCP. Is there going to be a shift in power equations there as well? Is a question that we've asked here, and we'll put it out. The other thing, Rahul Srivastava, also word coming in, this could be just chatter on the sideline. Maybe Sahil can add to it as well. The sheer fact, now there's word coming in that the brothers, Uddhav Thackeray and Raj Thackeray, possibly might unite.
See, Preeti, this Chacha Beta and Chacha nephew daughter, that Shiv Sena and I think Raj Thackeray, Uddhav Thackeray, Ajit Pawar and Supriya, lot of similarities. I think the Raj Thackeray, Uddhav Thackeray element is slightly difficult to achieve, but that's another story. See, there were total 43 berths as far as the Maharashtra Assembly is concerned. 23 earlier were vacant. Now 9 of them have gone. So you technically have 14 of them left as far as the Council of Ministers is concerned for Mr. Eknath Shinde. Now, earlier what we had heard from BJP sources that Eknath Shinde was pushing for 11 of those 23 which were available, rest going to the BJP and minor allies. But now it seems that there could well be not more than 6 coming the way of Eknath Shinde. That could well be trouble. But given the fact that Eknath Shinde's bargaining power has gone down, we will have to see what kind of noises they create. Remember also one fact. I think a lot is being said about how BJP may edge out Eknath Shinde. I don't think so. I really don't think so. The Eknath Shinde faction, as Sahil is saying, that BJP is aggregating votes. Remember, the BJP has complicated the picture in Maharashtra as a political party for the assembly for the Lok Sabha elections. So it does not want Eknath Shinde to be feeling slighted or undermined. That is why I will say BJP will hold on to Eknath Shinde, because Eknath Shinde is the one who is a part claimant to the Shiv Sena legacy. It may bring them that percentage of votes which will eventually help the BJP cross the 40% mark. So why is this theory floating around? I think the BJP will be talking to Eknath Shinde. Eknath Shinde may not push. Remember, last time around Shiv Sena did well because of the alliance with the BJP. So can Eknath Shinde throw around his weight and complain against the BJP, because he knows that eventually tomorrow he will like to have members of parliament in Lok Sabha, And that is why he needs to go with the BJP.
You know,
I think there are a lot of confusion,
right.
complications which are emerging. They may settle, but I think eventually only thing to be seen is the number game. Who has
last
more
two
MLAs
closing
in
comments. Dr.
Maharashtra
Sandeep
will
Shastri,
decide which way the battle is
Maharashtra is
going.
one of those 5 states which possibly the BJP had swept. It was also a state with its 48 seats in Lok Sabha, because we are talking about the larger picture right now, that the Congress and the united opposition hoped to capitalize on, keeping the current sentiment in mind. How much does this move change that equation? Dr. Shastri, can you hear me? Okay, we'll come to Dr. Yes, go ahead, sir.
I couldn't get your question, Preeti, if you could just...
Sir, just final comments, because 48 seats was what Maharashtra has in Lok Sabha. It was one of the states in the last election swept by the BJP. This time around, united opposition was hoping to make inroads there. How do you see things change from here on?
Yeah, Preeti, this is exactly the point I made in my first comment. I think this whole fight which you see happening in Maharashtra is linked to the 2024 Lok Sabha elections, with 48 seats from Maharashtra and with the opinion polls indicating that the NDA was not doing as well as the opposition alliance. I think it was important for the BJP to somewhere break that alliance and bring forces from their side.
Smart, astute move there. I'm sorry I'm cutting you short, but I just want to quickly bring in Sahil for a quick comment as well. Go ahead, Sahil. You've been wanting to make a point.
No, I'm just trying to say that, the way things happened in Shiv Sena and, when we count the vote, the problem with the Maharashtra is that there are no floating votes available. The people have already made up their mind. If you see the consecutive elections from 2014 to 2019, the votes have remained constant. The BJP and Shiv Sena have got 43% vote share, whereas the Congress and NCP has got 34 to 36% of the vote share. So the vote share has always been constant. There is no floating vote. And somewhere the system, BJP has now disrupted the system. First it was Sharad Pawar, and now the BJP has disrupted the system. So that vote share, shifting of vote share is going to be the key, and whether Ajit Pawar and Eknath Shinde are going to add 10 to 12% vote to the BJP's tally of 27 to 28% vote is going to be the key. If they are unable to do that, then they will be useless for the BJP in future.
Well, that's what's interesting, because let's say what we've come down to the end of this conversation. Thank you, the 3 gentlemen, for joining us, and that is, it's really not about the numbers in terms of MLA. It's really nothing to do how the state assembly is poised. It's got possibly everything to do with 2024, because if and Ajit Pawar, even with just about a 6% vote share where the NCP is concerned, not all, just of his area of influence, pushes it back and brings it to the BJP, then it could be advantage the BJP.